Welcome back to the Football Fitness Federation podcast. This is episode 108 with Callum Jackson, the under-23s physical performance coach. And anyone watching on the video will be able to see exactly where he is in Alicante City FC. Callum, how's things over there?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's a recent move, isn't it? So it'll be good to sort of catch up and see what's going on over there. But for anyone that doesn't know where you've been so far, your career so far, do you want to just give us a little rundown from sort of education up to the current role?
Yeah. So grew up in Spain originally, over in Malaga. Ended up going back to the UK to study. Did my degree at University of Bangor in North Wales. In my last year there, I was lucky enough to get into Oldham through a friend, Ant White, who was at Bournemouth and I just left there to get the England job in the goalkeeping. Class person to know. From there, so I did my internship through there for a year and then went through the academy system, so with the youth team, and then ended up doing all the age groups from 9s to 18s. I was like a head of academy S&C and sports science role, and then lucky enough as well during the last year and a half to do the first team as well. So it's good to have exposure to all the different age groups in the first team, etc. So yeah, that was good.
Awesome. And then what about into the current role? So you've just been telling me all about it, all about the setup over there. So do you want to just go into detail on your role, but also the club as well, how the club's set up?
Yeah. So it's basically Alicante City Football Club. It plays. They've got a first team, 23s team, and a 19 team. The 23s team is new this year, so it's the first year they've done the 23s team. And what it is basically, we've got players from all over the world that have come into Spain for 9 months. So we've got everything from American, Canadian, Romanian, British. They've all come over here to basically we form a team together with specific positions. Full-time team as well, so that's pretty good. And then we try and get them to either play with our first team, or with try and get them headhunted really. My specific roles with them, with the 23s, so see them every day, live with them as well. So it's kind of handy to see them, and then just monitor what they do every day, gym-based, pitch-based, etc. And then any players that go up to the first team, because they can play up really, depending on their age, we track on them as well.
And then you just, obviously you said about being in Spain originally, coming over to the UK, studying, and then working at Oldham as well. But what led to the move back there? Was it always the intention of going back to Spain, or was it through contacts? Like what led to this move?
Yeah, it was. I just saw it really. I thought I'd like to come back out to Spain. I love living out here. I was out here for 18 years. So I love living out here. And when I saw the opportunity, and then just applied for it really. I knew a few people when I did my coaching badges. One of like the co-owners / shareholder type of thing. So I had a chat with him. Spoke to Matt Jones as well. He was helpful with the move as well, and just getting grips with the club and what their goals were, etc. And then as soon as I got it, I was buzzing really, because it's back out here in the sun, and it's a challenge, because it was good. I enjoyed Oldham as well. But I think it's just restricted to some stuff we could do there. So it was a good new challenge to get out here. Really.
We'll dive into the role at Oldham shortly. You've just been trying to tell me about lifestyle and everything that's going on over there, and you don't sell it to me. I think Manchester's miles better, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's good. Basically, it's good. We live in a house together, and all the players and myself are together. The training grounds, literally, you come out of the house and it's 30 yards in front of the house. There's like it's a multi-million-pound gym that's based there as well. So there's literally everything from contrast baths to spas to 50-meter swimming pool to a rooftop gym. Literally everything you can imagine is all there. Every single type of machine, plate loader, pin loader, whatever, it's all there. It's ideal really. Any lads that get injured. Touch wood, they won't, but try and reduce that. But it's any lads that do want to focus on their individual programs, they can just go over there anytime and just work on that. So it's making sure everyone's on the same page, really, strength-wise and everything, and fitness-wise. And it's nice. And it's based on a golf course, like a golf resort at the house. So the beach is 10-15 minutes away as well. So it's it's good. It's better than rain every day.
And then what about the program? So when you first went over there, what did the program look like? And then also what changes? Because how long have you been there now?
7 weeks.
7 weeks. So what are some early changes you made to the program as well?
Well, we looked at training, what they did last year. They were doing double sessions most days. So it's kind of straight away like red flag really, because there was a lot of tiredness. There was nothing being tracked from a wellness point of view, RPE point of view as well. They don't have GPSs, but it's they've RPE type of thing. So I brought that in, brought wellnesses in as well, so we can track a bit of fatigue that way as well. Just I know it's subjective really, but then it's where they're at fitness wise. And food's a big one, because we've got chefs that come into the house and cook food for the players and stuff. So they'll come in twice a day and cook us meals, and come in every day at set times and stuff. So we change the times, train in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, food will be ready by 1. So as soon as they get back from training, showered and changed, food's there ready for them. It was tracking what they were eating as well, what foods they were getting into them, and changes that way really, because it's what they were eating before. It was all right, but they just changed to better things for them, yeah.
And then how receptive, because you talked about before about some players only being there short term, so you might only have players for a month or 6 weeks or a couple of months. So how receptive are the players to make changes from your point of view and your role in that short amount of time?
They've took it on board. To be fair, because all these players have come from different backgrounds. So some players have come from academy settings. They've played in a few academies back home or wherever in America, or college D1, D2 system. So they've come out here. Some of them, we have weekly CPDs. So we have a chat with them what they want to take in and learn type of thing. So we'll have weekly CPDs in the villa, and then we'll have individual meetings every week as well. So kind of educating them as well and getting them on board with it and all. And if they're not happy or whatever, we'll talk about it and we'll alter things, part of their program, their nutrition program as well. So everything's being tracked really. And they seem quite good with it all.
What's the next step with it? Because obviously, only being early into the program and your time there, you must have plans on where you want it to go and things you want to add into the program. So what can you fill us in on sort of the next steps?
So these first 6 weeks really, we had in pre-season. It got knocked back a month, the league, because of all this COVID. So these 6 weeks really, what we've had for pre-season really is getting to know where they're at. So we've been testing them, doing some various tests, some physical tests really. They've had their medicals as well to see how they are. We've had the old recording them with the running, looking at the running gait, the lifting patterns as well in the gym. So we've been seeing what they're like. Do we have to alter anything, any movement patterns? Just drilling in the basics to them early, and then they've all got their individual programs, so it's building on that as well. And then down the line, really, it's just working on all that really, working on the individual programs, trying to get them as strong as possible, as robust as possible. As well as keeping injuries nice and low.
And then to go back to your time with Oldham, so because I'm sure a lot of people that are listening will know you from the time at Oldham. They might not even know about the move over there. So what about some of the main challenges so just fill us in on the role that you had with the club, but then also some of the main challenges you faced over there?
So my last year was with the first team. Got pulled up from the first team just after pre-season it was. Was with the academy to start with, or did a year, and then switched to the academy. Was there for 3 years with the academy, so I had every age group. So with the academy, is basically bringing them through. There was nothing strength and conditioning based. There was nothing sports science based with the academy at all. We just had pro football support, who were doing stuff, but there was nothing really apart from that. So regarding monitoring them down the age groups and down the lines, etc., there was nothing. So we put a full program in there with them. We're lucky to have a few universities on board with us, such as Salford and Bolton. They helped us out, whether it was students or with the youth team, we were able to go and test them at their facilities for pre-season, etc. We're looking at development really with the academy, and then with the first team last year, it was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it. It was different, obviously, to the academy. Obviously, restrictions as well, financial restrictions, and wasn't one of those clubs where you were just going to spend bags of money. So whatever you had to do was definitely, you had to think it over and try and get the best for what you've got financially. But again, it was one of them where we had to deal with what we've got, and it was good because it makes you think outside the box. It wasn't one of those, like I say, you didn't have everything, you didn't have every sort of facility you wanted, every sort of piece of equipment you wanted, so you just had to adjust to what you had and go from there.
And you said before about there being the difference between academy and first team. So there might be people listening to this that are potentially like students and looking to get into football, but not knowing whether they want to work at academy level, first team level, not really knowing what the differences are. So what were some of the main differences you found between the two roles?
Definitely a lot more stress for the first team because it's a business. It's business end of things. You need the 3 points on the weekend, on a Saturday. You need the cut runs. You need all that. Otherwise, stress just goes up and up and up and up and up. You feel the tension type of thing. With the academy, it was a lot more. There's a lot more, like I say, development type of thing. But then when you see that a player moves on to a bigger club type of thing, it's very like feels rewarding type of thing that you kind of had a part with it, part to play along that player's development. And again, it's with the academy, it was the younger the age groups, the 13, 14, 15 type of thing. It was drilling those strength and conditioning principles in early. Challenging because they don't really, it's hard to get into, let's say, 13, 14 type of thing. When you're talking to them, you've got to break everything down. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a lot, different.
There's a big step, isn't there, between that development and the performance? Like you say, the big shift to suddenly going from looking at players individually and developing individually to suddenly we've got to get 3 points, and that's like that's the main focus, isn't it? That's one of the big differences between those academy roles and first team.
Yeah, 100%.
And then with that, so you talked there about at Oldham basically designing the program from a clean slate, or there not being much in place beforehand. So was that a good sort of setup for you to then go over to back over to Spain and sort of put some things in place that you potentially done there?
Yeah, because when we had the youth team there, I think all they were doing was press up. They used to do a press up program and a pull up program. It was it was a bit old school, but it was you kind of had to adjust it and throw new things in, and obviously you're getting players and the YTS system come from different clubs, and they were you could see they were a lot better. They could move a lot better because they've been introduced to it early type of thing. So it's good to have a blank canvas and design the program and have individual specific programs for each player, and that's literally what we've done here. Really, it's they've never had a physical performance coach over here, so it was kind of the coach doing everything, all the fitness, everything last season. So it was good to hear what they'd done and all these marathon running they've been doing, and so it's changing that whole program and having the blank canvas for it and planning it all. And we've by the sounds of it, they've reduced a lot of soft tissue injuries and a lot of injuries overall. So A few of the players that have been here as well. There's a few players that have been here for 10, 11 months because of COVID. So they were here last season. They were meant to go back to the US, and then they ended up staying here now because we found they ended up being poached by a club, 4th division, 5th division type of thing. So they even said like a lot of difference in the program, and they feel a lot more fresher, a lot more energy. They perform better. They're performing better in training on the pitch. They're able to be more in the gym as well, so more effective in the gym and lifting more, and yeah, they feel a lot stronger as well by it. So it's kind of building there and doing that. Yeah.
I'm going to drop this one on you. So to prioritise 3 things. So you're going into a program, blank canvas. What are the top 3 things that you want to get into that program? So in the ideal world, so if we didn't have any sort of restrictions on time or financial restrictions, because I'm trying to think about some coaches, we obviously encourage people to go out and volunteer at different clubs. So it might be at a semi-professional club, it might be at a Sunday league club. They're pretty much going to have the same blank canvas as you. So if you could go in and put, and I'm sure you've done this already at both Oldham and over there, what are your top 3 priorities? And I haven't given you the heads up on this, and I'm dropping it on you.
Definitely analyse how they all move, 100% from the start. Analyse how they all move on the pitch, straight line running as well. See how they analyse. Is there anything wrong with them there? Testing them in the gym, whether it's the lifting technique or the 3 rep max or 5 rep max type thing. And it's just drilled into them the key principles of sleep, nutrition, just the basic foundations of the pyramid, and building from there. Because a lot of players don't understand, especially, well, maybe some of them at the start here, because they all live together, they're all up at night type of thing, and there's a PS in the living room, so they're all smashing PS all night, and yeah, they get up the next day tired, training sloppy and not in the mood type of thing. So just by changing those types of things, and it has worked, to be fair. They've all bought into it. They feel better. So yeah, it's definitely, yeah, I would say 3. Yeah.
So you've obviously had to switch, like you've had to make quite a big cultural change there, haven't you, with the things you're putting into play. So you said before, obviously the lads have been pretty receptive to it, but why do you think that is? Like, is that just because you've gone in and they've not known any different, or like why have they took to it, do you think?
I think maybe a little bit of that. I think again it's just because I think it's the education behind it as well. They don't really, they'll ask you, you'll be there having dinner with them, next minute someone will ask you a question, that question will turn to having an hour chat about, it could be about anything. It could be, oh, I'm taking this, I'm taking that, should I take this? And I'm going to do the gym and do this, or I'm going to, should I do this, should I do that? What's the reason behind this, what's the reason behind that? So you just get peppered with questions all the time. And it's just giving them like evidence-based knowledge back. I mean, sometimes I've told them a load of papers to go and read. Whether they've read them or not, I don't know. So every CPD, there's another board over there. So the first one is nutrition, recovery, sleep, lifting techniques next week. But it's it's just giving them that really, and letting them go and explore a little bit, because they have got quite a lot of time on hands. Like I say, we train first thing. We'll have a meeting every day at 9:15. We'll go out for pre-ab. We'll start at 10. Like I say, it's 30, 40 yards away the pitch. So we'll finish at 11:30, 12, depending on what we're doing. And then we've also, on a couple of days a week, we've got gym in the afternoon. So we'll alter that, whether it's upper based or lower based. That's at 2:30 till 3:30. So they've got from 4 o'clock onwards really every day to go to the beach or go for a swim or relax in the garden or chill in the room. So it's kind of like they've got a lot of time on hand. So I try and get them to read a little bit. And yeah, some lads have, to be fair, some lads have come back. So it's saying some stuff that surprised me. So yeah.
It sounds like you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the amount of time and exposure you have with the lads sound like that's had a big impact, because there'll be a lot of coaches that are listening and thinking, yeah, working in, I'm thinking more like academies, they might only see the players for half an hour, maybe a couple of times a week, and in that half an hour you've got a load of players, you're not able to have those conversations that you just talked about. So they're the valuable
100%.
ones, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Like, reverting back again to Oldham, as well, we used to do the academy nights on a Tuesday night and a Friday night even, and I'd have like, the Tuesday night would be more pitch based, and that would be from 9s to 12s, and I'd have 20 minutes with each group, and then I wouldn't see them for another week. And then Friday nights I'd have 15s and 16s, and I'd have them for 45 minutes each. So again, I wouldn't see them for another week, unless they train with the 18. Sorry. So here it's kind of like I'm with them every day. So it's kind of keeping that coach to friend relationship. Try not to be too pally with them. Try not to be too much of a coach with them as well. Good cop, bad cop. So yeah, it's keeping that, and it's ideal really, because it's what you want. They'll come down. Some of them design their own programs. They'll talk to you. Should I do this? Should I do that? And then it's kind of me peppering them. All right, what's the reason behind this? Why are you doing this? Oh, I don't know. I saw it on video. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, with that though as well, that can be quite powerful, can't it, to get them thinking about programming, things like that, especially with the short contact time you have with someone. If they're over for a month with you and they take away 3 or 4 things that you've sort of gone into regarding recovery or lifting or whatever it is, that can be very impactful, can't it? Rather than you just guiding them through and taking them through every single step, and letting them have a bit of responsibility and creativity in the program.
Yeah, some when I first got here, the last group that were here on the month, they'd gone back like 5 or 6 days after I first got here. So obviously that first 5 or 6 days I had with them, we were still training stuff, still in the gym. So I still got to know them as well. Although it was a short period of time, got to have a look at them and give them new ideas and stuff for the gym, etc. So they still message me now and again. Oh, I've done this. This is quite easy. How can I progress it? I found a new club. I'm playing with this club, type of thing. It's kind of good still to be in contact with them as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked a lot about the positives over there, not to make it all doom and gloom, but what about some challenges? Because we spoke just before we started recording. There's challenges within that sort of setup on the program as well for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. If you've ever been to Spain before, you'll know that everything's done either last minute or it's very, very, very relaxed. You need something done, we'll do it tomorrow. So, for example, the most frustrating thing for me coming over here was we never knew the fixtures. We didn't know the fixtures until Tuesday just gone, and the first league game was on Sunday. So planning everything is just you try and do what you can to try and preserve the players and get into peak type of thing when you need them to. But same again now, we won't find out now until next week. Our games, we know our games are Saturday and Sunday. We know we play every weekend, but we don't know whether it's a Saturday or Sunday until this Monday coming. Because it's just so, and it's amazing that La Liga runs like that as well.
Really?
So it's amazing that La Liga and Segunda B, the first 3 divisions, they all run in the same way. We have Elche and Hercules down the road from us, La Liga and Segunda teams, so they're the same. We're lucky enough to have one of our coaches. He played La Liga for I don't know how many years. He comes in twice a week with us, twice a week with the first team and coach as well. So it's good to feed off him as well and get into contact with people like that and get your name in the game over here as well. So yeah, it's definitely very, very. I've asked every day, asked the head coach every day when we're playing, do we know when we're playing, do you know where we're playing, what time we're playing? No idea. We'll find out tomorrow. Okay.
So all the academics out there that are studying periodization models are all tearing their hair out right now. But it's real life, isn't it? It's a real life situation. And we probably don't have it as extreme over here, but it still happens, doesn't it? There's still changes. I'm sure you had it with Oldham where last minute games were dropped into midweek or whatever. So just go into a bit more detail on how that affects your approach, because if there's a game dropped in and you're suddenly playing on Saturday, which is a few days away, like what are some of your priorities then? Where does your mind go in terms of, right, we've got to get the players ready for the Saturday, we now know the time, the day, what's the sort of way you work back from there?
Yeah, so this happened this week actually. We couldn't find a preseason game for the whole of not last week, week before. So we had a preseason. We had a game every week basically in preseason, apart from week 4. We didn't have a game at all. And then last week we had a game on a Saturday, and then on the Saturday we found out we played on this Tuesday just gone. So it was kind of like, whoa, okay. But because we found out Saturday afternoon, we got a call and said, right, we've got a pre-season fixture. And it was like, whoa, okay, didn't agree to this, but we'll see how we get on. So luckily at the moment we've got a lot of players so we can rotate, but it's making sure that, like, for example, now this week now they've been at what they're going to carry out in a game like situation. So the 11v11 or 10v10 we did on Tuesday type of thing. That's helped box off the exposure to the high speed running and sprinting. And then today and tomorrow really are our last 2 days before we can play on the Sunday. Because on Saturday, another spanner in the works is the pitch across the road is there's a local team that play there as well, and they have like every age group training. So we're now to alter our session on Saturday to a little beach session, make sure it's very light, so that Sunday we're not too tired. But yeah, no, it's kind of one of them to make sure each week we're boxing off each thing, whether it's high speed running or the intensive, extensive, short and long distances type of thing, and making sure they're getting the uppers and lowers in really, or at least one lowers a week, and accounting for 48 hours of DOMs really. So it's making sure they're ready for that. And we did a lowers based session 2 weeks ago. I think I got a bit carried away at first because they were 8 days in. Some of them, I think 3 of them were still moaning, or the leg was still sore. So it's kind of getting them on the same page. Because some lads, like I say, some lads come from America, they're physically a lot better than some of the lads from the UK that come over, because they've been exposed to that. They're massive on that over there, and it's good to talk to them individually and find out where they've come from, how they used to operate over there, and yeah, it's just boxing off really. And like I say, we do RPEs, not fantastic, but at least it's something better than nothing. Like I say, with wellness as well, it's getting a bit more information from them. So it's, yeah.
And then you just mentioned there about players coming from different parts of the world, so being at different levels. So that's got to be a big challenge for you as well, because coming into a program that not only do you have to amend as like a last minute change in terms of your planning, but you've also then got players at different levels. So how do you then adapt the program? Because how many players are you dealing with in one go?
We had 24 today. We're still missing, because of COVID, we're still missing 3 more Americans. And then there's one from Qatar, one from Kenya, I think he is. And then because they can't get visas approved, so in total we'll have about 28 players, 29 players, but they won't all play for us. They'll play for the 19s or the first team, so it's kind of nice to have a big squad for rotation, but it's then, like you say, it's making sure they're all singing off the same sheet type of thing, and changing their program up individually, because there's some players that can move better than others, and that haven't. There's some lads here that have never touched a weight before, so it's kind of surprising that, yeah.
So in terms of, I know it's very early on with you being over there, but the approach to that, is it a case of setting up a session and going in with a plan for the day and then just adapting as you need to, or have you got different groups that you split them into depending on sort of training ages and things like that? Like what does it look like when they're at different levels?
Yeah, so we'll plan the week, break it down really. We'll plan the week on Monday, so we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat in the morning, right? Myself and the coach. We'll plan the week, what went well last week or the previous week, what didn't go well, what we need to work on, and then from there, really, we kind of we kind of base the sessions on what needs to be fixed and what we can work on, and then regarding the gym sessions as well, yeah, split them in two groups. Kind of the better lifters in the second group, they seem to rattle it out better, and then the other lads in the first group, and kind of slow everything down and build it from there, from basics. Yeah.
Awesome. Class. Well, we'll move on to some quick fire now. So a few questions for you. The first one, talk me through some of your biggest influences on your career so far. So that can be coaches you've worked with, it could be anyone really, but you can have a few. I'll let you have a few.
I've got to say Anthony White. Ant White was good. He was very good. He helped me with the Oldham role, and it's quite lucky getting that role really. It was through, long story short really, my sister was at uni and he was looking for an intern at the time, and she knew him, and through his missus and stuff, so definitely him. Matt Taberner as well is a big one. I was lucky enough to work with Emma, his other half, when she came to Oldham as head of academy, like sports science and medicine. So thankfully for her, really, she put me in contact with Matt. I was able to go into Everton basically on my days off every week. So it was good to get exposure from the top end as well. Same thing with Ant, really. He let me go into Bournemouth for the 23s or 21s for a week down there. So it's good to see how they do things different down there. I'd probably say they're the top three, yeah.
Brilliant. And that just shows the importance of taking those opportunities as well, though, doesn't it? Like they've come at a time when you could have easily just ignored the chance to seek those opportunities, but they've led to getting experience at those clubs. So that just underlines that importance.
Yeah, 100%. It's the whole networking conversation again, isn't it? Where your CPDs, and that's the only thing that I miss, kind of thing, where I know it's not happening at the moment or because of COVID, but obviously all the CPDs that have been running, you can go and meet and chat with everyone, and connections, and definitely a big thing. And because when I started my first year at Oldham, I was doing my last year in North Wales, so it was a 2.5 hour drive to Oldham. At the start, it was 1 day a week, and then once I finished my undergrad, I was living back in Chester again, and full time driving up and down to Manchester 5 days a week. So the old car got a battering with the mileage, but no, it was good. It was worth it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, but yeah, 100% with the connections and the networking, and because you never know where it can lead you and where it can take you, and yeah, it's good. It's very good.
And then next one, what's your biggest strength as a coach?
I'd like to think it's having that exposure from academy and first team basis. Having been exposed to that already, to the development side of it and the business side of it. Yeah, I think it's that, the difference and everything, the programming and talking to the players, how to talk to them. Because talking to an academy player who's 14 and talking to a 13 player is totally different attitude, or not egos, but you know what I mean, personalities. If that 13 player's been around different clubs, they challenge you with different things. With the 14s, there's all the academy players, it's getting them educated young and getting the basics right in them as soon as you can, to strong foundations.
Awesome. And then next one, oh, brilliant for the phone to ring. Schoolboy, it's the first time that's happened. I'm leaving that in as well. I'm not editing it out, but that can stay in. Real life. Right, next one. CPD. So you mentioned there about CPD, but I don't know how much you've done recently, whether you've had a chance to do any sort of webinars or listen to any podcasts or anything like that. But is there anything that sort of stands out for you that you've done that's been beneficial? Like anyone that you've actually listened to that you'd give like a shout out?
There's loads. I'm quite busy with the CPD, to be honest. I like CPD. I like it as if I'm doing stuff, I like it as kind of a background noise, kind of take that in as well. Or even in the garden, relaxing or go for a walk or whatever. And yeah, definitely. There's quite a few. How long have you got?
give us maybe two or three, like two different ones that you, because I ask this to a lot of different people, and people tend to bring up
definitely yourselves, top of the list, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta be. No, some people have brought up the same sort of people, but it's always nice to hear like areas that you're sort of studying and looking at. So
yeah, Rob Pace as well, a good one there. And then it's other stuff really, such as the High Performance podcast, or other stuff like Peter Crouch podcast, a bit of a laugh and stuff. But again, it's knowing that's for and there's loads of them. You got Under the Cosh, that's another good one.
I think with those ones as well, they're interesting because as we listen as like Sports Science and S&C, we probably listen to it a little bit differently to what other people would listen to. And obviously we take in all the stories and stuff, which are great. But you do get a few little gems along the way as well, don't you? Thinking, oh, well, that's the way they think about sports science. Or
apart from being slated all the time for being busy and everyone playing pranks on you and hiding your GPS pods or hiding your moving everything about sort of thing, or finding your boot in the freezer, or it's good because, like you say, you can relate to some of the stuff they talk about, whether it's what happens behind the scenes in the changing rooms or what happens on the pitch, or it is good.
Awesome. And then last couple, this is the same question for two different types of people. So what do you think one of the best traits are to have as a coach?
Definitely making yourself approachable to players and coaches, 100%. Find that balance, like I said before, with the players, find that balance of good cop, bad cop, where you've got to crack the whip when you can, but then you can also have a chat to them, how they're feeling. At the end of the day, they're not robots; they're human beings as well. And I know you've got to get them to work and stuff, and obviously get results, but you've also got to have a chat with them, how they're feeling, and
Awesome. And then the same question, but for a player. So some of the best traits from from your point of view, what are you looking at in terms of, oh, that's a great trait from a player, that's what I want my players to be like or have in the locker?
Yeah. Well, it's different. Well, the physicality over here is totally different to, they'd have a shock. I think the Spanish players have a shock if they played in England, because the physicality over here is totally different. They don't like contact at all. Anything like La Liga you see on TV, anything, it's like someone shot them from the rooftop. But no, definitely, if as long as you're busy and you're grafting, you're working hard for the team and you're putting the effort in. And for me, really, I'd rather work with a player who's putting the effort in and putting the time in than someone who's not really bothered. Because then it kind of shows who's here to progress on and who's here just for the lads to have fun. And it's definitely like 100% attitude and ability and your work ethic.
Class. Well, mate, it's great to catch up, and it's great to see you doing so well over there with your October tan. I'm not jealous at all. Sounds awful with the golf course and the pool and the beach and everything. I feel sorry for you.
It beats the rain, eh?
But no, it's top to catch up. Do you want to, if anyone's got questions, like we might get some questions, because I think this is a really interesting one, because obviously it's a very different setup over there, but you've also got experience of being over here in the Football League. So if anyone's got questions or anything, where would you direct them to?
I'm on Twitter, the handle at CalJack26, so CALJACK 26, or my personal email, Callum_Jackson1@hotmail.com. Like I say, just fire anything over, and if you want to chat, if you want to talk, video or Zoom, more than welcome to.
Brilliant. Awesome, mate. Well, thanks a lot for doing it.
Cheers, top man.
Cheers, Callum. Catch up soon.
See you later.
See you, mate.